something I'm so obsessed with is understanding the psychology behind why people use the words that they've chosen to put on landing pages, and that's something I want to share with you today. If they're not convinced by this point, they will not scroll below. Straight away, you know, I'm not wasting my time here. This is for me. This is going to help you out, and this is what I found to be the only thing that is important. This is all about scaling service-based businesses online. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. I've analysed thousands of landing pages in my time, probably over the last 10 years. I don't know how many things I've signed up for, how many ads I've been hooked into, how many courses I've bought, masterminds I've bought, just so many funnels I've been a part of and just been obsessed with. And it's one of my fascinations, something I'm so obsessed with, is understanding the psychology behind why people use the words that they've chosen to put on landing pages, on their copy. And that's something I want to share with you today from what I've learned. We've also scaled a coaching business to over 250 plus active clients with a full team of coaches, sales team, and we've also built a gym, totally separate business as well. So that's my experience, but this is just my fascination really with what I've obsessed with, what I've seen work in my own business, my own landing pages, my own funnels. So if you're a coach, consultant, agency, anything there where you get traffic from social media or anywhere to hit your pages, your website, your landing page, and you want them to convert, you want them to take the next step, this is going to help you out. And this is what I found to be the only thing that is important, or not the only thing, but the most important thing by far, more important than anything else you can obsess with, is the hero section above the fold, right? Now, if you haven't heard that term before, it's just a fancy way of saying the only thing you see on screen when you first click that link to that website. And 80 to 90% of traffic these days, probably to your website, you can check the metrics, will come from mobile traffic, not website traffic. So it's not going to be the desktop version, it's going to be the mobile version when you're holding that phone in your hand. And whatever you can see on that page there, if your screen is not optimized for showing them everything they need to know about what it is you want them to do, what that next step's going to be, then you're going to lose the majority of people from that there. Nothing else across the whole page. You can, if you've got 6 to 10 sections all the way down, that's scroll after scroll after scroll. I basically determine each section by each full page that you can see on screen. So when you scroll down, that's what one section is to me. Now, the hero section, I want to show you what you need to have on that hero section, and you're going to learn today very quickly what it is you need to have on that hero section to convert at the highest possible rate, right? Now, if you're again wondering why you should listen to me, I've also built a software called Social Proof where we've built an AI that basically creates this page for you based on the service you offer. So specifically designed for coaches and consultants, where you input your information. It's basically to build more trust with whoever's clicking that page. But that's a different story altogether. But that's how much I've obsessed with this. We've built things off the back of it. We've built these funnels in our own business. So that's the validation out the way, so you know why you should maybe just at least try it. If you're listening to me talk about it, you can understand the psychology behind it, right? Now, behind every piece of copywriting or every word you see on screen, within the good businesses, the businesses that are actually working, there's a lot of psychology gone and a lot of thought into those words, and that's what I want to show with you today. Okay, let's dive straight into it then. The page itself. So let's just say this is the page. So I'll make it wider, right? Just so I have enough room to talk. But this is a mobile. So let's just say this is a mobile down here, and we'll put here mobile view. Yeah, and it's above the fold. Above the fold. This is all above the fold, yeah, to here. And what do we need on these parts? So just imagine, it does all depend on why that traffic is hitting that page at this certain point. For example, if it's a thank you page, this doesn't apply to it. I'm talking specifically about the lead generation pages where you either want someone to join a priority list, a lead form, any sort of lead form, whether it's booking into a event that you've got, buying tickets to your events, which we've done events before. We've had over 100 people turn out, and that's just from an online business, which is pretty cool. And also just to sign up for the gym, like we've had to sign up for a gym. If we want people to join a waiting list, if you want people to join a priority list, also works if you wanted people to book a call. If you want people to book a call, a strategy call, discovery call, sales call, whatever you want to call it, it works for all this, right? But this is the layout, the template that you can take away and apply today, or at least try. Like split test it, try it, see how it performs compared to your other business. So at the top, what we want is a target audience call out. Yeah. So what does that mean? This is one line. So I'll make it clear if it's one line or two lines, right? This is one line at the very top. And you can make it look nice and professional. And what this will say is it will instantly relate to the specific label that they have for themselves. What do they call themselves? And when we went out to Vegas, we went to acquisition.com, and Layla talked about this specifically. She said, when you're hiring people, so this is another way of collecting leads, when you're hiring people, sometimes people come up with these fancy terms for what they want to call their position in their own business, right? To make it sound cool. Like you could call it like head of fun, for example, or chief of fun. When in reality, that could be like a chief of staff or something like that. So they wouldn't be on LinkedIn with that specific title. They wouldn't label themselves that. So what do your customers call themselves? What do they go by? If you're targeting, with us, for example, coaches, consultants, agency owners, we will say at the top, and usually what I'd like to do is, instead of making it seem so obvious that I'm literally just listing, this is for coaches, this is for consultants, I'll say coaches, consultants, agency owners chasing more leads. And instantly, when you read that first page, you're going to give it your little bit more of attention. You're moving down the page, right? So straight away, I'm not wasting my time here. This is for me. Or it disqualifies a lot of people as well. So straight away, I'm saying if this is not you, it's not for you. And they'll scroll off. Some people will go through, but for most people, they'll scroll off. So straight away, we're hooking them in by just relating and calling out who they are. Then we go on to the actual page. So this will be like a banner at the top of the page where it's calling out the target audience, yeah? Next step is going to be the offer, but it's going to be the dream outcome and the desire part of the offer. So this is going to be offer, dream outcome. I'll put desire. Yep. So this is 2 lines. Usually you might need 3, potentially. Yeah. Now on these parts here, this is where you want to use your offer. If you haven't built an offer, if you haven't refined an offer, if you haven't read the offers book or learned anything about online marketing, you want to basically call out the results of what they want to achieve from whatever it is they're struggling with. So depending on how customer aware they are at this point in the journey when they're hitting this landing page, you want to be calling out the potential dream outcome, desire, something that they're interested in. So another example I can give you here, and I won't give you the next section, but this is the headline. So this is basically the headline, and it will say, get into the best shape of your life. Or it will say, drop 20 pounds in 12 weeks. So it could be like combining 2 aspects of the offer, which is the timeline, and it's also the result they're going to get as well. So it all depends on what your service is. For example, with our software, we said guarantee 5 new clients in the next 28 days or your money back. Like that was a bit of a guarantee thrown into the offer as well. And then the next part is the subheadline. So the subheadline is going to bounce straight on, and it's going to string straight onto this. So sub headline, and that's the headline. Head, and this will be a without / pattern interrupt. This is all coming from the top of my head as well, right? So if it seems a bit all over the place, that's why I'm not planning the script here. But the without or pattern interrupt, this is basically the pain or the potential solution that they thought they would usually need to use that you're not saying they should use. So this is the part where you want to cause a lot of curiosity, you want to cause a lot of intrigue, you want them to think, oh, this is a little bit different to what I expected, because everyone's going to be shouting at them the dream outcomes. If the dream outcomes are familiar, if the results they want are familiar, like for example, with the Welcome Pack VSL that we build, and we use in the sales process, it's targeted towards founders looking to reduce their time on sales calls or remove themselves completely. The offer will be remove or reduce your time on sales whilst increasing your close rate. And then the without will be without hiring more closers. And we'll also, another pattern interrupt that we've tried, which is different to that line, will be by removing the pitch from your calls. And that will make people think, well, how am I meant to increase my close rate and spend less time on sales calls if I remove the pitch from calls? So they're intrigued. It's all about getting them to just take that next step. And then very simple, what do? We follow on from that. We have the VSL. Now, I've tried not using a VSL on some pages. And for some people, if it's less of an ask, like if you're not asking them to book a call or submit information to you where they're moving with like a lot of buy-in intent, for example, joining a priority list for something, it can work. For example, signing up to a newsletter, you don't necessarily need a VSL for that. But for anything where you want to really move someone along the customer journey, you want to use a VSL, definitely. And at this point, it is a leads VSL. So very important to know the difference between a leads VSL and a sales VSL. A sales VSL is similar to what we just talked about, the welcome pack VSL, which is only sent to people after they've booked a call, which is going to basically remove the pitch from your calls, and it's going to increase your close rate. It's going to increase show up rates. It's going to reduce the time you need to spend on a call. So it's a win-win situation. But that's a sales VSL, very different. This is a leads VSL. It's going to be maybe 2 to 3 minutes long maximum, and it's just going to explain to them exactly what's expected after they take that next step, which very important. Below, you've got the CTA. Okay, so here you've got the CTA, the call to action. Whatever you want them to do, the button. This is going to be a button. So it could pull up a form. It could pull up a calendar for them to book in a call. Whatever you want them to do, whatever that next step is, you need to make sure that it's available immediately within screen above the fold as they jump onto that screen there. So that's how things should work. If you want to find out exactly how to write a script for a leads VSL, we'll give that away at the bottom so you can get access to that straight away. You can work with AI, ChatGPT, we've got a prompt there, and a framework so you can build the correct script, and it'll build it in it'll be like 60 to 90 seconds long, so you can actually put that together, because it's hard to explain exactly what a VSL should be here, because every line, again, just like with these lines, every single line has got a psychological pillar behind it as to why we need it. So that's how the above the fold should look. That's how the hero section should look. If you're trying to maximize conversions, this is the section you need to focus on, because very few people actually scroll beyond that point there. And if they're not convinced by this point, they will not scroll below. So if they're not convinced at all by this, they'll be bouncing off straight away. So I would obsess over thinking about your above the fold section, your hero section, to get this right. But hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you've learned something from this. If you've got any questions, feel free to comment below, and make sure you subscribe. This is all about scaling service-based businesses online. So thank you very much, and I will speak to you soon.